in the short term, I think it's hard to argue with the idea that Iran has come out strengthened and certainly more confident. They now have a source of leverage in the Strait of Hormuz that in some ways is much more powerful than any leverage that their nuclear program ever gave them, because it's real, it has an immediate impact on the world economy. And as we saw in President Trump's comments regarding why he had agreed to the memorandum, it really can induce world leaders to make concessions to the Iranians because they don't want the global economy to crash. So I think it's really hard to kind of look at that set of circumstances and not conclude that Iran has come out ahead. Also, the outcomes that each side was hoping for were quite imbalanced. So, the U.S. came in wanting perhaps regime change, or at least wanting, destruction of Iran's nuclear sites, ballistic missiles, conventional military, all of these things. For the Iranians, what they really needed to show that they were victorious domestically, and then also to kind of their followers or supporters in the region, was simply to survive, and to survive against kind of two of the most powerful militaries in the world. And they have shown that they have done that. In the medium or maybe long term, I think there's real challenges. The major parts of the infrastructure have been completely destroyed. The economy is really in shambles, even more than it was in December. They're seeing overall inflation of 70%, according to estimates. Potentially for food inflation, it's getting into the triple digits. Unemployment, all of these kind of really structural problems happening. And then at the same time, we're kind of seeing at least some fractures within the regime, even now, over sort of what the future should be, first of this memorandum and kind of any agreement with the United States, and then overall kind of, do we let in foreign investments in order to grow, or is that a threat to the principles of the regime? And I think a lot of that is going to be playing out in the next few months and even years. So it's really hard to tell right now kind of what that future holds. But my sense is that once this sort of high of the post-war victory period passes, Iranian policymakers and leaders are going to have to actually turn to governing, and that's something that's going to be much more difficult for them.